Good morning. This is your stats sensei, Mr. Spensei, and this is a warm up on the inverse norm. So a soft drink bottle vendor indicates that its bottles are normally distributed. That's important. With a mean internal strength of 157 and a standard deviation of 3 psi. So if we're looking at this, we're going to go, all right, mean is 157, standard deviation is 3. We know it's normal, so let's get a picture of this real quickly. There's our mean of 157. What are the z-scores associated with the middle 94%? Well, as soon as I see 94%, I know I'm working with an inverse norm. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down. Inverse norm. You must give both the upper and lower bounds. Now, one thing that I notice is it says z-scores. And so that means I really don't need this drawing because all z-scores have a mean equal to 0 and a standard deviation equal to 1. So in this case, I'm more interested in 0, but I need 94%, and I need a lower and an upper. This represents 94%, the shaded part, and that's what I'm looking for. Well, the first thing the calculator is going to ask for on the inverse norm is it's going to ask me for my area, which is 0.94. Then it's going to ask me for my mean. Well, because I'm working with a z-score, it's 0, and the standard deviation is 1. And we happen to be looking for the center. So let's go to the calculator real quickly and see what we come up with. So we go to second vars, inverse norm. The area is 0.94. The mean is 0. The standard deviation is 1. And we wanted the center. And we get two bounds, negative 1.8807 and 1.8807. So our lower bound right here is negative 1.8807. And our upper bound is 1.8807. And because it's symmetric and we're centered on 0, our z-scores are the same. All right, part B says what interval centered about the mean contains 94% of the internal strength data. Okay, here this is different. We're still working with 94%, so this tells me I'm working with an inverse norm. But in this case, it's more interested in the internal strength, which means our mean in this case, unlike the one above it, which was the z-score, our mean is 157, the actual, and our standard deviation is 3. So I'm going to go here. And I'm going to set this up as 157. I'm still going to be looking for a lower and an upper. And I'm still looking for 94% of the data. So inverse norm, the calculator is going to very first ask is for the area. Then it's going to ask for our mean, which was 157. That was the actual mean. And it's also going to ask for our standard deviation, which happened to be 3. So this is the probability or the area. This is the mean. This is the standard deviation. And we are centered. So let's go to the calculator and see what it comes up with. The second vars, normal, CDF. Second vars, inverse norm. The area is 0.94. Our mean is no longer 0. It's 157 because we're using the actual values. Our standard deviation is 3. We are centered. And we end up getting 151.35 and 162.64. So 151.3576. And that makes sense because it's below 157, and that's supposed to be the lower. And then our upper was 162.6423. 162.6423. And it makes sense that this is above 157 because it is our upper. All right, so this concludes our warm-up. Appreciate you watching.